Hello friends, I'm Pablo Suarez with the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Center, and it's delightful to be with you today. Thanks for the opportunity to join you. So, I used to be a full-time researcher on climate and disasters, and it was my job to give answers. And I learned the hard way that when we give answers and people do not have their own curiosity nurtured, our message falls flat. I very often put people to sleep when telling them that the climate is changing, it's getting worse, and we can and must prepare. Because, science can be tiring and humanitarian work can be darkening. So I've been trying to find new ways to work with others, to inspire people to want to learn, to want to engage. How can we from the humanitarian sector work not only with experts, with climate experts, with neuroscience experts, but also with professional communicators to get to reach better to those communities at risk who can and kind of must get ready for what's coming? Interestingly, I have learned that some of our best partners for communicating changing climate risks are professional humorists. Let me tell you why. When you give answers and people don't have the question, the message can fall flat. If you want to engage people, it really helps to play with the element of surprise. When people are surprised, they want to pay more attention. They want to sort out what's going on. They want to figure out the puzzle. And humor is very much designed to play with the incompleteness of knowledge. Professional humorists, including cartoonists, are experts at creating depictions of a complex reality where something doesn't fit, where something seems to be wrong. And like in our real world, too much of what surrounds us is absurd. It's unacceptable, yet accepted. Look around us. Look at what we're doing with this global climate. There's one cartoon that we have used to communicate the science of climate change, where there's a father with a son looking at the coastline and saying, "Dear son, one day all of this will be yours and underwater." That moment of what we're giving you will be useless. That is painful, and professional humorists know how to play with the darkness and with the need to pursue illumination. That's one of the things that, as a member of the Climate Center, I have really enjoyed in working with the psychosocial support team. The Center for Psychosocial Support has been engaging us in trying to harness the power of humor to elicit from participants the desire to figure out. Surprise embodied in cartoons, surprise embodied in humor, makes people say like, what? First there's a moment of confusion, there's a question mark that emerges. And then, if the cartoon is well chosen, if the humor is well crafted, there's a moment of revelation, there's an aha moment. This aha moment reveals something potentially complex, something that hasn't easily crystallized in the minds of people. When that happens, there can be the release, the ha-ha. But this aha moment, this revelation, can go through the defensive barriers that we tend to build with cognitive systems that want to distance ourselves from the need to recognize difficult, painful realities. There's another cartoon I really like. There's a flood scene, two people are on the roof, and one of them is madly recycling paper on the recycling bin, and the other one says, well, maybe we have to do more than recycling. We as humanitarians need to recognize that, of course, in a changing climate, we have to address the causes of climate change. Sure, we need to recycle, we need to reduce our energy consumption, but as humanitarians, we need to deal with the consequences of climate change. The risks are changing. And how are we going to help communities at risk be better prepared for what's coming? What is coming is unprecedented in the magnitude, the severity, the frequency, the character of extreme events. We're seeing it all over the place. We're seeing the extreme temperatures, completely out of season, strong winds and floods and pests and all fires, things that people have never experienced in living memory. How are we going to help people prepare for the surprise that is coming? When we work with artists, with designers, with humorists, we can bring in that ability to coexist with the ridiculous. We are entering an era of ridiculous climate, an era of unacceptable shocks. But guess what? If we don't accept the reality of what's coming, we are in serious trouble. There's another cartoon we have used from Ross Chast. It depicts different gradients of terror, from looks like a normal day to something seems wrong to an absolute level of terror. As someone who has been working on climate change science since the late 90s, I have to say, my friends, I can see very, very terrifying horizons coming to us very, very fast. We are not able to imagine how different things are getting. I'm not talking only about the natural phenomena that are coming our way. I'm also talking about the need for social cohesion, for caring. How can we bear in mind that the mental health of individuals, of communities, of entire societies, there's going to be so much stress, so much more tension in the system, that I really think we need to find creative ways to bring people together, to illuminate, to create comfort in the discomfort. Humor can be useful. Fun is functional to help people connect. Connect with the real world that's changing dangerously, and connect with each other. Connect with the people who can help, and connect with the people who need to be helped. One of the things we have noticed is that as a sector, we don't seem to know how to bring people together to share what is so concerning about this changing climate, this terrifying changing climate. Youth, humanitarian workers, people in the media, researchers, they're seeing more and more of this darkness coming fast. We as a sector need to recognize that we have to work together to create the spaces for sharing concerns, sharing this sense of grief that is building because of losses that are coming our way that are very painful. In voicing, in sharing those dark feelings, one can build a sense of solidarity. One can build a sense of warmth. One can care, express the need for care, express the desire to share. I really believe that there's a lot of power in working together in creative ways. We have been using this approach that we call cartoonathons, which is like a hackathon, but instead of computer geeks, we bring professional humorists, cartoonists, to create humor based on what emerges from the session. One of the very first ones we did was about climate grief. And there was this really useful cartoon where it shows a therapist and a person who seems to be in the middle of grief, and the therapist says, "Enough about the climate, tell me about your mother." The reason why I like this is that it depicts how ill-prepared the systems are to try to gravitate towards the convention, towards the norm. There was a time when, sure, mothers were a lot of the reason why people felt distress. How are we going to reorient our mental health and caring support systems to acknowledge and to address the need to help people and communities in a changing climate? We have a lot of work ahead. You have a lot of work ahead. I really hope that through humor, through creativity, through togetherness, we can find ways to understand, address, and confront joyfully the need to help each other. Thank you.